On a tragic Tuesday, August 12th of 2003, a harrowing tragedy unfolded in Piscataway, New Jersey. Shani Baraka, a 32-year-old woman and the daughter of the poet and activist Amiri Baraka, faced a gruesome fate. Returning to the home she shared with her sister, Wanda Wilson, on Martin Lane, Shani, accompanied by her partner, 30-year-old Rayshon Katrina Holmes, also known as Ray Ray, met a brutal and tragic end through a ruthless act of violence. Shani and her partner Rayshon visited Wanda's home to collect some of Shani's belongings. Wanda was absent, vacationing in Las Vegas with her boyfriend. Unfortunately, neither Shani nor Rayshon survived their visit to Wanda's home. Before Shani's sister left for Las Vegas on August 8th of 2003, she had arranged for her boyfriend's 17-year-old son to look after and walk her pit bull. On August 12th, the teenager, along with his girlfriend and little cousin, went to feed and attend to Wanda's pit bull, only to find two lifeless bodies in the downstairs family room. They found Rayshon Holmes lying lifeless beside Shani. Shani had sustained gunshot wounds to her neck, breast, and arm, while Rayshon had been hit in her neck and back. The family couldn't comprehend how such a tragedy could happen to two beloved and well-known women. However, Shani's sister, Wanda, held a strong suspicion that her estranged husband was responsible for ending the lives of Rayshon and Shani, as he had previously made threats to take Wanda's life. Just 3 months before the tragic killing of Shani and Rayshon, Wanda's husband, 35-year-old James Coleman, also known as Ibn El Amin Pasha, had forcibly entered Wanda's home. There, he pointed a gun at her head and chillingly uttered the words, "I should kill you." In February of 2000, Wanda married James Coleman, whom she had met through mutual friends. Despite her executive role at J.C. Morgan Bank in New York City and being a homeowner in Piscataway, New Jersey, with her half-sister Shani Baraka, Wanda was attracted to James, who was unemployed and lacked a permanent residence. They started dating, and she financially supported him to launch a business, eventually leading to him moving into her home. Over the course of their 3-year marriage, the relationship progressively got worse. James allegedly was featured in a gay magazine, pursued other women, and exhibited violent behavior. Later, he tested positive for HIV, withholding this crucial information from Wanda for 5 months after learning about his status. Wanda, reaching her breaking point, kicked James out of her home. The stress and violence reportedly led to a miscarriage following an attack by her husband. After their separation, James became increasingly obsessive, firing bullets into Wanda's outdoor pool and engaging in stalking behavior. On April 27th of 2003, James showed up at Wanda's home demanding entry. Despite his persistence, she refused and called the police. James left before they arrived, but one officer suggested Wanda get a restraining order. Wanda got the order, but unfortunately, it was never served to James. In June of 2003, Wanda met a new love interest, James Hill Jr., who coincidentally shared the same first name as her estranged husband, James Coleman. Despite Wanda forming a connection with James Hill, her separated husband, James Coleman, became extremely jealous. Wanting her pool maintained, on June 17th of 2003, she asked her male friend to oversee it. Since he lacked transportation, Wanda lent him her car. The very next day, he went to maintain Wanda's pool, and found Wanda's car had been set ablaze. He frantically called Wanda to let her know her car had been set on fire, with broken windows and slashed tires. James, who had been stalking Wanda that day, reached out to inquire about her reaction to the vandalism. Admitting to the act, he revealed his jealousy and rage, triggered by overhearing Wanda instructing her friend to use her car. The situation continued to deteriorate, and later that month, her alarm went off, indicating a break-in at her home. Wanda was certain it was her estranged husband, as pictures of her and her new boyfriend were missing from the house. James persistently terrorized Wanda, and in early July of 2003, her pool experienced repeated acts of vandalism, including intentional contamination with motor oil. James Coleman was relentlessly calling Wanda, making up to 20 calls daily to her cell phone and workplace. The harassment reached a point where Wanda, fearing for her life, had to hire a security escort for her safety when entering and leaving her workplace due to the relentless harassment from her estranged husband. Wanda sought extra security because she didn't feel safe alone in her house. Her new boyfriend's 17-year-old son, who owned a pit bull, agreed to let Wanda have the dog for protection. On August 8th, just 4 days prior to the tragic events involving Shani and Rayshon, Wanda and her partner, James Hill, embarked on a romantic getaway to Las Vegas. During their vacation, the son of Wanda's boyfriend, who had given her the pit bull, responsibly tended to the dog's needs, ensuring it was fed and walked. On August 12th of 2003, 4 days later, the 17-year-old teenager, accompanied by his girlfriend and 9-year-old cousin, went to do their daily check on the dog. Upon entering, they noticed something unusual. All the lights on the second floor were on. Curious, they explored the house, with the 17-year-old and his girlfriend going upstairs, while the younger cousin checked on the pit bull in the basement. The terrified younger cousin quickly rushed back upstairs, shouting to his older cousin about discovering lifeless bodies downstairs. The scared and shocked 17-year-old promptly called his father and Wanda in Las Vegas, then contacted the police. Upon arriving at the house, the police discovered the lifeless bodies of Shani Baraka and Rayshon Holmes, both victims of a fatal shooting. Given James Coleman's previous violent actions towards Wanda months earlier, the police quickly sought to question him. James had left New Jersey and went to stay with a friend named Robert Carpenter in North Carolina. On learning that the police were looking for him, he asked his friend to drive him back to New Jersey so that he could turn himself in. Shani Baraka's funeral took place on Saturday, August 16th of 2003, drawing over 1,000 attendees at the Metropolitan Baptist Church in Newark. Shortly after the funeral, on Sunday, August 17th, James Coleman, accompanied by an attorney, turned himself in to the Piscataway police. Rayshon Holmes owned a Toyota Land Cruiser, but the vehicle was absent at the time of her death. James Coleman stole Rayshon's car and drove to Virginia, where on August 12th of 2003, the same day Shani and Rayshon were murdered, his friend, Rob Carpenter, purchased a one-way ticket for a Greyhound bus to go to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Approximately 4 months later, Rayshon's car was discovered in Virginia near the Greyhound bus terminal. James Coleman's friend, Robert Carpenter, admitted that James visited him in North Carolina in early August but returned to New Jersey on August 8th. According to Robert, James was in New Jersey on August 9th, 10th, and 11th, then went back to North Carolina on August 12th. Upon his return, James pawned several pieces of women's jewelry. The police retrieved the items, and Wanda identified them as belonging to her sister Shani and herself. Why wasn't James Coleman incarcerated despite his stalking, violent behavior, and threats towards Wanda, including brandishing a gun and threatening her life? Despite Wanda filing at least 12 domestic violence complaints after their separation in February of 2003, Coleman never faced jail time for his actions. Due to James Coleman's erratic behavior, Shani, who had been staying with Wanda, chose to leave, ceasing her visits to the house. Unfortunately, when Shani and her partner entered her sister's home at an ill-fated moment, they encountered an enraged, obsessive, and violent James Coleman, who had secretly entered through a sliding glass door. Tragically, Shani and Rayshon found themselves in an unfortunate circumstance. Wanda was in the midst of divorcing her increasingly violent and unpredictable husband. Sadly, James Coleman waited for Wanda to return home, but she didn't. Instead, he fired 6 shots, hitting Shani Baraka 4 times and Rayshon Holmes twice. Upon learning of the murders, Shani's sister Wanda immediately knew it was her husband, and she paged James, and shortly he returned her call. She asked him why did he do it, to which he first replied he didn't do it. Wanda responded, questioning why he was on the run, and he insisted that he would never do anything like that. Wanda didn't believe him and advised him to turn himself in, and she hung up. He called her back, blaming her for leaving him stranded and saying, "You went to Las Vegas, so you're just going to ride off into the sunset and leave me out here like this? You made me do it. It's your fault." He then admitted that he had took the life of her sister and Shani's lover, Rayshon. James Coleman was a prior felon. In 1989, he pled guilty to drug charges in East Orange, New Jersey, receiving a 2-year prison sentence. Surprisingly, after his parole release, he organized Black Unity rallies and became associated with Amiri Baraka, an organization founded by Cleveland Browns football player Jim Brown, dedicated to helping parolees reintegrate into communities. However, James reintegrated as a menace, raising questions about his release. James Coleman posed a serious threat to society and should have never been released from jail. He claimed the lives of 2 beloved individuals. Born on October 23rd of 1971, Shani Baraka, a lifelong Newark resident, was a school teacher and basketball coach, adored by students, colleagues, friends, family, and many others in Newark. She taught at Vailsburg Middle School and served as an assistant coach of the state champions girl basketball team at Malcolm X Shabazz High School. Shani was a proud member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority and an openly LGBTQ advocate in Newark's community. Born on April 17th of 1973, Rayshon Katrina Holmes was known for her intelligence, passion for singing, sassy demeanor, straightforwardness, and sense of humor. She had a deep love for fashion, enjoyed modeling clothes, and had a talent for creating stylish outfits. Rayshon, a loving mother, daughter, sister, auntie, and friend, will be sincerely missed for her beautiful smile, spunk, and the joyous celebrations she shared with her family. James Coleman was sentenced to 168 years in prison with 2 consecutive life terms for the deaths of Shani and Rayshon. Despite the haunting memories of Shani Baraka and Rayshon Holmes' tragic murder, their family has transformed their sorrow into a force for helping others facing domestic violence. In May of 2017, Shani's brother, Ross Baraka, opened the Shani Baraka Women's Resource Center, offering free programs and services for domestic violence victims. The center, focusing on women in crisis, provides support for domestic violence, job development, and homelessness. It also offers assistance with sexual assault, grief support, mental health, and group workshops. The memories of Shani Baraka and Rayshon Holmes will endure, ensuring they are never forgotten.